Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sanchoita. Today I am going to dictate a passage from a book of the Father of Nation, Mahatma Gandhiji. Title of the book: An Autobiography or the Story of My Experiments with Truth. Speed will be 80 words per minute. Total words 944. Duration of dictation will be 11 minutes and 49 seconds. This book first published in installments in journals in both English and Gujarati. The book covers Gandhi's life from childhood until 1921. The title of the passage: Navajivan and Young India. At the end of the dictation, you will get the passage and outlines of important words. Be ready. I will start dictation after the countdown of 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. Thus, whilst this movement for the preservation of non-violence was making steady through slow progress, on the one hand, government's policy of lawless repression was in full career on the other, and was manifesting itself in the Punjab in all its nakedness. Leaders were put under arrest, martial law, which in other words meant no law, was proclaimed, special tribunals were set up. These tribunals were not courts of justice but instruments for carrying out the arbitrary will of an autocrat. Sentences were passed unwarranted by evidence and in flagrant violation of justice. In Amritsar, innocent men and women were made to crawl like worms on their bellies. Before this outrage, the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy paled into significance in my eyes, though it was this massacre principally that attracted the attention of the people of India and of the world. I was praised to proceed to Punjab immediately in disregard of consequence. I wrote and also telegraphed to the Viceroy asking for permission to go there, but in vain. If I proceeded without the necessary permission, I should not be allowed to cross the boundary of the Punjab, but left to find what satisfaction I could from civil disobedience. I was thus confronted by a serious dilemma. As things stood, to break the order against my entry into the Punjab, it seemed to me hardly be classed as civil disobedience, for I did not see around me the kind of peaceful atmosphere that I wanted, and the unbridled repression in the Punjab had further served to aggravate and deepen the feelings of resentment. For me, therefore, to offer civil disobedience at such a time, even if it were possible, would have been like fanning the flame. I therefore decided not to proceed to the Punjab in spite of the suggestion of friends. It was a bitter pill for me to swallow. Tales of rank justice and oppression came pouring in daily from the Punjab, but all I could do was to sit helplessly by and gnash my teeth. Just then, Mr. Horniman, in whose hands the Bombay Chronicle had become a formidable force, was suddenly spirited away by the authorities. This act of the government seemed to me to be surrounded by a foulness which still stings in my nostrils. I know that Mr. Horniman never desired lawlessness. He had not liked my breaking the prohibitory order of the Punjab government without the permission of the Satyagraha committee and had fully endorsed the decision to suspend civil disobedience. I had even received from him a letter advising suspension before I had announced my decision to that effect. Only owing to the distance between Bombay and Ahmedabad, I got the letter after the announcement. His sudden deportation therefore caused me much pain and surprise. As a result of these developments, I was asked by the directors of the Bombay Chronicle to take up the responsibility of conducting that paper. Mr. Brilby was already there on the staff, so not much remained to be done by me. But as usual with my nature, the responsibility would have become an additional tax. But the government came as it were to my rescue, for by its order the publication of Chronicle had to be suspended. The friends who were directing the management of the Chronicle, viz. Messrs. Umar Sobani and Shankarlal Banker, were at this time also controlling Young India. They suggested that in view of the suppression of the Chronicle, I should now take up the editorship of Young India, and that in order to fill the gap left by the former Young India should be converted from a weekly into a bi-weekly organ. This was what I felt also. I was anxious to expound the inner meaning of Satyagraha to the public, and also hoped that through this effort I should at least be able to do justice to the Punjab situation. For behind all I wrote, there was potential Satyagraha, and the government knew as much. I therefore readily accepted the suggestion made by these friends. But how could the general public be trained in Satyagraha through the medium of English? My principal field of work lay in Gujarat. Sir Indulal Yajnik was at that time associated with the group of Messrs. Sobani and Banker. He was conducting the Gujarati monthly Navajivan, which had the financial backing of these friends. They placed the monthly at my disposal, and further Sir Indulal offered to work on it. This monthly was converted into a weekly. In the meantime, the chronicle was resuscitated. Young India was therefore restored to its original weekly form. To have published the two weeklies from two different places would have been very inconvenient to me and involved more expenditure. As Navajivan was already being published from Ahmedabad, Young India was also removed there at my suggestion. There were other reasons besides for this change. I had already learned from my experience of Indian opinion that such journals needed a press of their own. Moreover, the press laws in force in India at that time were such that if I wanted to express my views untrammeled, the existing printing presses, which were naturally run for business, would have hesitated to publish them. The need for setting up a press of our own therefore became all the more imperative, and since this could be conveniently done only at Ahmedabad, Young India too had to be taken there. Through these journals, I now commenced to the best of my ability the work of educating the reading public in Satyagraha. Both of them had reached a very wide circulation, which at one time rose to the neighborhood of 40,000 each. But while the circulation of Navajivan went up at a bound, that of Young India increased only by slow degrees. After my incarceration, the circulation of both these journals fell to low ebb and today stands below 8,000. Now stop writing. Now read your script and do transcription. Now I am showing you important words with outlines. Part 1. Part 2. Now I am showing you the passage. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. I hope you find my dictation is useful to you. Thanks very much for watching. Take care.